live in high definition. This is Wave 3 News.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Scott Adkins. So good to see you. Glad you're waking up with us. Or if you're just crashing, we have what you need to prepare for the rest of this weekend, including snow, bitterly cold temperatures, and highs in the negative and in the zero in the coming days.
Can you believe that? This is an almost generational cold event that we are going to be having as we start next week. We've got to get through snow first, quite a bit of it at that. Check it out right now. We've got winter storm watches and warnings out for Kentuckiana. The blue is the watch that's out for all of our counties. The pink is the winter storm warning, currently in effect for areas along and north of the Ohio River. This is actually for Sunday. All right, so today looking just fine weather-wise, but tomorrow, that's when things change. We've got the radar view very clear here this morning, and that's going to remain the same as we go throughout the day. The clouds beginning to break out to our west in front of this system that's going to be affecting us as we go throughout tomorrow. In fact, the system is gathering out in the west right now, portions of Wyoming, into Utah, even into Colorado. You can kind of see some of that cloud cover and snow beginning to develop out there. That's going to be heading our way as we go throughout tomorrow. Also, the colder temperatures. The temperatures we have right now are going to feel downright warm compared to what we are going to be getting as we go throughout your Monday morning and your Tuesday morning. Right now, 25 in Metro Louisville, 22 in Corydon, 17 in Bedford. And as we go throughout the day, we see temperatures near 40 degrees. We'll let you know how far down we will go as we go throughout the next few days here in our main weather coming up next.
It's 6:02. Thanks, Ryan. And a word of caution this morning as the coldest Arctic air mass hits the region for the first time in more than 20 years.
Frostbite will be a serious concern. Any exposed skin will, just within minutes, you'll have frostbite. So this is something, if you're 20 to 25 years old, you have never experienced temperatures these low before.
That warning from emergency management crews working to prepare the public for the weather ahead. Well, most people are able to stay indoors, protected from the dangerously cold temps. The homeless have to rely on shelters. Local laws also allow homeless people to stop in at restaurants, coffee shops, or stores to warm up for a few minutes. Places like Wayside Christian Mission are packed as the temps dip. Olga Gray has been on a waiting list for a week just to rest in a bed instead of a mat on the floor.
I never thought I would be homeless, never thought I would be on the street, never thought that I'd be in this situation.
Most of the shelters make accommodations when it's this cold so that folks can stay in, especially during these white flag days when it's dangerous to stay outside. We don't want any of our homeless folks freezing to death on the streets.
Wayside is one of 5 shelters open during Operation White Flag, meaning when temperatures are below 35 degrees. We put a complete list on Way3.com of all the shelters throughout the metro open. Click the I Saw It on Way3 News link on the right-hand side of the page. 2 people suffered gunshot wounds outside a shelter in Lexington. It happened across the street from the Catholic Action Center on 5th Street. 2 people were hit by bullets, including a volunteer. Both were responsive and taken to UK Hospital. Other volunteers say they heard shots being fired and then saw a car speeding away. Here in the metro, we're bracing for another snowfall, and no doubt tons of salt will end up on roads and sidewalks. Some environmentalists worry about the potential impact the chemicals will have on fish and wildlife.
All of a sudden, this gets washed off into this storm drain right here.
The Kentucky Waterways Alliance claims the salt or sodium fluoride changes the water's charge, making it toxic for fish. The EPA says Kentucky's waterways aren't in danger compared to colder states where places like Minnesota use much more salt. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet personnel claim trucks can limit the amount of salt dispersed.
We have low rates and high rates depending on how severe the weather is.
Environmentalists encourage you to reuse salt on your driveway. We'll have much more on this story coming up in the next half hour. Our coverage of this winter storm continues on Way3.com. You can check out the live radar anytime, and you can find out more about the free Way3 News and Way3 weather apps and get the latest list of closings and delays as those roll in. You can also check out dozens of live traffic cameras in your area. Meteorologist Ryan Hoke will be back in just a bit with an extended outlook. It's 6:05 now. Well, parents, there is a chance your child's holiday break may be extended an additional day. A JCPS spokesman tells us they're monitoring the weather conditions to see what happens Sunday with the chance of snow and dangerously cold temperatures Monday. When we find out, we'll let you know. Well, the eyes of the college football world are on Austin, Texas, and maybe here. And who will fill that vacant coaching job? Louisville football coach Charlie Strong tops the list of many analysts. Coaches from Baylor and UCLA took their names out of the running. U of L fans have had to endure a similar waiting game last year when Strong was heavily pursued by Tennessee. As Louisville fans wait to hear the latest about Coach Strong and his future, a Cardinal legend faced a similar situation. Way 3 News reporter Connie Leonard sat down with a U of L legend who has some amazing parallels with Coach Charlie Strong when it comes to being courted by other programs.
Charlie Strong and Denny Crum, 2 University of Louisville coaches with a lot in common.
I'll send this to my dad. He'll be so proud of me.
Both popular.
I'd hate to see him leave it now.
And that was Connie Leonard reporting. Well, Coach Crum says the offers from UCLA didn't upset his teams back then because it wasn't the social media game it is now. And not to mention all the TV and radio talk shows that just keep an eye on coaches and those vacancies 24/7. Well, our coverage continues on way3.com, and we'll break developments surrounding Coach Strong when we confirm it. It's 6:09 now. An undercover drug sting turns into a murder-for-hire investigation. Charlestown police called in the ATF after a drug buy at an apartment complex revealed much more. Investigators say 23-year-old Christopher Washington tried to solicit someone at the complex. They say Washington wanted to kill someone connected to a separate drug case in Clark County. Charlestown police got a search warrant for Washington's apartment. They're not saying what they found or releasing any information about that, but Washington now faces several charges. The person police say shot another man New Year's Eve is locked up this morning. Shively police arrested 22-year-old Latrey Quisenberry for a shooting on Park Road Drive. The victim was shot in the stomach but should be okay. Police say Quisenberry didn't know the victim, but it appears he was selling the man drugs.
A very key piece of evidence that was found at the scene, that in conjunction with testimony from both the victim and witnesses were able to put us on him pretty quick.
Detectives say they've been watching Quisenberry for days and caught up with him Friday afternoon in the Shawnee neighborhood. He faces attempted murder and robbery. Instead of taking a plea deal, 2 teens accused of killing a Harrison County couple will take their chances with a jury. Way 3 News reporter Cedra Mayfield now with the latest as the pair made their decision.
Following the advice of his attorneys, 18-year-old Austin Scott turned down a plea.
Court for hearing.
Rescheduled jury trials previously set for March for both Schuler and Scott at the defense's request. Cedra Mayfield, Wave 3 News.
Schuler and Scott are expected back in court for hearings in April. We'll keep you updated. Still ahead this morning, an anniversary surprise of a lifetime for a wounded veteran who happens to be a huge Auburn football fan.
It's been nearly 20 years since we got down to -6.